Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to this edition of The Pipeline, where we're refining the news that is important to you. The drought in Texas that took hold a few years ago first seemed to threaten the economic boom that arose from fracking, but drillers have found a way to get by with much less water. They recycle it using systems that they may have eyed with suspicion not all that long ago. Paul Schlossberg, co-founder and chief financial officer of Water Rescue Services, said that this was a dramatic change to the practices that the industry used for many years. He said that water was prevalent, it was cheap, and it was taken for granted. Just a few years ago, many drillers suspected water recyclers were trying to sell an unproven idea designed to drain money from multi-million-dollar businesses. Now the system is helping drillers use less fresh water and dispose of less wastewater. Fracking operations require millions of gallons of relatively clean water. Each time a well is drilled, about 20% of that water eventually reemerges. Until recently, that water was dumped as waste, often into injection wells deep underground. In Texas, requests for recycling permits are on the rise. The Texas Railroad Commission revamped the rules in March, eliminating the need for drillers to get a permit if they recycle on their own leases or on a third party's property. The new rules are designed to help operators enhance their water conservation efforts and encourage recycling.
After the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico in 2010, there was a lot of talk about the possibility of offshore drilling being scaled back. Instead, the opposite has happened. Since the moratorium imposed on deepwater drilling in the U.S. in May 2010 was lifted in October of that year, offshore exploration and drilling in the Gulf of Mexico has continued, interrupted, and taken on new momentum, as it has around the world. Today, deepwater drilling remains the next big frontier for oil and natural gas production. Energy companies say new technologies are making drilling safer for both the environment and their workers, and they are pouring millions of dollars into the development of new production techniques that they expect to increase the efficiency of drilling in deepwater and open up new areas for production. The push into deepwater is being spurred in part by the heightened political uncertainty in the oil production regions of Africa and the Middle East. According to Norwegian oil and gas consultants, Rystad Energy AS, deepwater production is expected to account for 13% of the global output of crude oil and natural gas condensates by 2020, up from 10% last year.
The 5-year battle over permits for the controversial Keystone XL pipeline project doesn't bode well for pipeline expansions in other states, including ones moving oil and natural gas from the Utica and the Marcellus shale plays. Peter Lydiak, who is the pipeline director for the Washington, D.C.-based trade group, said that people in the energy industry have been speculating the traditional south to north and west to east flows of natural gas into the Midwest could be reversed because of the amount of gas being produced in the Marcellus shale play in Pennsylvania and potentially the Utica in eastern Ohio. But new pipelines are required to make that happen, and they will need permits from federal and state agencies in charge of such things. The oil industry and environmental groups continue to battle over the Keystone XL project, which would move tar sands oil from Western Canada to refineries on the Gulf Coast in Texas. Opponents fear pipeline leaks and claim the Keystone will hurt investments in clean energy projects, while supporters say the pipeline will create jobs along the route as well as boost businesses for manufacturers that make pipeline-related materials. The project is currently under review by the U.S. State Department. That's all the time we have today. Thanks for watching, and remember, we're drilling only for the relevant news and bringing it to you through the pipeline.